So are we finally gonna talk about eels fucking?
Hell yeah, we are.
That eel totally fucked. You can tell.
Actually, it doesn't in that condition. We're gonna get into it.
Oh, eels don't have sex until the last year of their life. Why eels are one strange fish?
Mhm.
I'm curious. Do they have a predetermined life duration, or do they just go, "This is the last year of my life," which means I gotta get
Yeah, no,
fucked
it's
on.
pretty much that. It's literally that. They're like, okay, oh, I'm done. Fuck freshwater. I'm going to saltwater. I'm gonna fuck and I'm gonna die.
Sweet.
Viking, you said that that eels were incels earlier. They're not. They're volcels.
Yeah, they're voluntarily celibate until they're like, it's like, what is it? Is have you ever seen, spoiler alerts, in the good life, when you choose to go, when you've had enough and you decide that you don't want to live for eternity anymore, it's time to end it. Similarly, eels just, they could live forever, but eventually they're like, you know what, I want to fuck more than I want to live.
Literally,
And
yes.
then they
Like
go.
literally, that's what this article is about. Um, Also, Eric, no, the eels are not Christian, they're Muslim.
Did I not say The Good Place, two cars, or is my brain just so completely fried I forgot to name the show
You
The
said
Good
the good
Place?
life.
The Good Life.
Good life fitness. You go to the
Yes, Good Life
gym
Fitness.
and
You can just choose to go when you're in Good Life Fitness. You're like, I could stay in Good Life Fitness for eternity if I want to, or I could just choose to go and never live anymore. Oh hell, oh yes. Okay, eels don't have sex until the last year of their life. Why eels are one strange fish. Fishing for
can you
eel.
zoom in
Oh
on the text
yes,
a little bit
let's do that.
and shift it to the right so that the camera. Oh, I
Shift
guess
it
that
to
works a
the.
bit.
To me, it's annoying they have like these huge like bars here. Can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
Fishing for eels was a primal childhood experience for Patrick Svensson. On summer nights, his father would take him down to a small stream near their home in Sweden. It was a magical place, surrounded by willow trees, with bats swooping through the moonlight. They barely talked as they set their fishing lines along the bank. It was what me and my father did together. We fished for eels. Oh yeah, he recalled. Back home, Patrick's mothers? Back home, Patrick's mother would toss their catch in the frying pan, but the eels still squirmed and wriggled even after they were chopped up, with no heads. I always found it fascinating and a little scary, he says. It made me think, what's really the difference between life and death? And he was a child? Didn't realize that eels were going to get so
Yeah, he's a good little
existential.
Swede.
Oh my god. Jody, make a streaming scene with your video on the right side instead of the left. I mean, I could just do this. Watch this. But then I blocked the chat text. I could do
Okay,
it.
so move the chat text up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And then move don't forget to move the voice chat with my name there as well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the chat box?
So I'm
There it
gonna go
is.
PLR back.
Boom. Here is this. Is this better? Will we make that work? How will I see the ads on the right though? Fuck you. Trying to dictate your desire to watch ads on me. Listen, we only do what the VIPs say, all right? That's why two cars gets to command me around. I still love you there. I'm sorry I was so harsh. I'm a slave to consumption, much like these eels are a slave to their desire to fuck. Deanno did say they were coming back, right? uh, all All right. In the meantime, then I guess we'll do this. Come here. You're gonna meow at me. Might as well come here. Okay. Okay. Ooh, yes. No, I really wanted you to dig your nails into my back. That's exactly what I wanted. Ah, yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. You want to say hi to the people who are now watching you claw me and grind my face? I don't know many cats that are this aggressively affectionate. Like, she will not let me take her away from my face right now without wanting to, like, destroy me. She's like, I really need to grind your face. Okay, there we go. Did you get your fill? No? You're coming back? Okay. All right. You're okay. You're gonna grind the headphones right off my head. Where go the eels, so too go we. Well said, Tim. Well said. We're just waiting for Vienna to get back. But thank you for joining us, Tim. And while we wait, we might as well say that the eels are brought to us by the refreshing taste of Diet Pepsi. You know, when I like to cook up a squirming and squealing eel that makes me contemplate my existence, I like to do so with a Diet Pepsi.
That was a really half-assed ad, I gotta say.
And so life comes for us all.
Pepsi, I apologize. I know that you want like a better ad read from us next time. We're doing our best.
Listen, death comes for us all. We have to we just have to sit with that, you know. All right, Simone. Simone, I'm trying to do a show here, right?
True.
Can I do a show? You got your cat hair all over my face. Okay. Hopefully I'm gonna put you down.
Dude.
Oh.
Cars.
Diet Pepsi could have stopped the Rittenhouse shooting. You know what? That's a good point. Why didn't they?
Yeah.
Why didn't you, Diet Pepsi? Questionable morals, unquestionable taste. Oh, all right. Lots of questions that need answers. For sure. Including why this person is obsessed with eels. So here we go. That's just one of the many questions that haunted Svensson for decades, and he's far from alone in his obsession. The eel is one of the most mysterious creatures on Earth. I want to say that almost everyone who studies animals thinks that their particular animal of interest is the most mysterious and fascinating creature of them all. Always.
Read the article.
I don't care. Listen. There's tons of fascinating animals out there. Okay. So to say one of the most, it's like they're all fascinating. Don't be an eel chauvinist. Come on.
It's more of a like historical mystery in terms of like how it's related to humans. So it's most mysterious over a long period.
You don't think the octopuses
which it gets into if you finish the sentence.
Are the octopi?
Which it gets into if you finish the sentence.
Not mysterious? Or what about the cephalosaurs?
No. Those are easily understood.
And for centuries, it confounded scientists from Aristotle to Freud. Oh, we're going all the way back. Of course, the person who thought that the volcanoes were just heated wine sacks. That's the guy who was confused about eels, all right? And the other person who thought that somehow the length of your nose corresponded to how much you wanted to masturbate. That guy, yes, they were confused about eels. All right.
Yeah.
No one could.
They knew things about being horny.
No one could figure out how or where they reproduced, or whether there were actually male and female eels, or how they managed to transform from saltwater to freshwater animals and then back to saltwater. Silver eels at the end of their lives. Excuse me, or even whether the eel was a fish or some kind of water snake. I'm guessing that is our eel-obsessed young Swede.
Yes, it is.
Gender-neutral eels. Gender-neutral eels. Yeah, the platypus. How about that for a mysterious creature? Want to meet a zoologist who's like, I study the brown bear because they're not at all mysterious. No surprises and easy days work.
Tim, Tim, do they have ducks in Australia?
And Eric, you're right. That is a very serious headshot. You can tell he's
It's
thinking,
a
he's like,
very serious
I
story.
gotta understand those eels.
Yeah. I'm deep in thought about these eels and how they fuck.
Hell yeah. Svensson, a soft-spoken journalist with a keen sense of wonder and a taste for philosophical music. So he's not even he's a journalist. He's not even a scientist. Writes about his long fascination with this strange animal in The Book of Eels, a blend of natural history and memoir. The book is a beguiling chronicle of the many people who've tried to uncover the eel's secrets. I reached Svensson at his home in Malmo, Sweden. We also have
What is
swans.
exactly is the eel question?
Am
We're
I
playing
am I
parts now.
playing the role of Svensson?
Oh, do you want me to be Svensson? I could be Svensson.
No, that's all right.
You have to grow up and read the question then.
Okay. What exactly is the eel question?
I just
Svensson?
realized I don't know how to do a Swedish accent, but the eel has a very special scientific history. And it's been such a big issue in natural science that the term the eel question refers to an especially hard mystery to solve. But the eel question has been different things over the years. From the beginning, it was, what is the eel? Is it a fish or something else? And then it had a lot to do with its sexuality. Does it have sexual differences? Are there males and females?
Can we fuck it? Love how it's immediately to
The
what is
answer to
it
that is
and does it
always
have
yes.
sex? For centuries, no one.
Aristotle and Freud were famously obsessed with sex. Like, we know this.
True. For centuries, no one could actually find any sexual organs. They couldn't tell whether there were male and female eels.
Because no human being has ever seen eels breed, so to explain how they do it was an extremely hard question.
Who
I
reads
don't
this
think the
part?
big part is part of the. I think that comes later. I think it explain. That's a, like, choice quote.
I wish instead of eating, we grew our sexual organs. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
To this day, no person has ever seen eels mate.
No one has ever seen it because all eels breed in the Sargasso Sea, region in the Atlantic Ocean, and only there. Aristotle studied the eel and tried to explain how they breed, but when he dissected them, he couldn't find any sexual organs, and he came to the conclusion that eels don't breed at all. He thought that the eel just came to life out of nothing, from the mud in the rivers and the seas. Carl Linnaeus, is it that how you say
That
it?
is that is how
Uh,
you say it.
okay.
This is the
Came to
one
the same
one name I
conclusion as
know how
Aristotle.
to pronounce.
Carl Linnaeus came to the same conclusion as Aristotle, that they don't breed and that there are no sexual differences between males and females. But there's an explanation for that. Eels don't develop their sexual organs until they are on the way back to the Sargasso Sea in just the last year of their life.
I also want to say, like, about Aristotle, not. I mean, I realize that we're going to get a technical explanation in why they could not find the eel's sexual organs, but like Aristotle famously, I mean, there's how do I say this? Competing theories about how Aristotle conceptualized human sexuality. And Thomas Lacker famously wrote a book called Making Sex, which is about how Aristotle, or Thomas speculates that Aristotle conceptualized human sexuality as a one sexed species, and that females were just a deficient version of the male. And so he would like, I don't think he made any drawings, but like in the future when people eventually started like analyzing cadavers and like creating representations of male and female genitalia, they would make the female genitalia look like male genitalia by like adding things in the diagram that we know aren't there. And then the question is like, how much of that was just like the scientific culture pressure put upon these people to draw in things that they didn't see in the first place, or people just convinced themselves that Aristotle must be right, that they were seeing things in the cadavers that they were dissecting, such that they added things to them. Uh, Very fascinating stuff. We stand non-binary eels. They are valid. Eels are spontaneously created by God. True. And hello, Hildebeest. Everyone should go follow Hildebeest. They are great. My favorite Aristotle sex reference that referred to the big bee in the middle of beehives, who is obviously everyone's mom, the king bee, because important people are always boys. Aristotle also thought that women were cold-blooded, and that's why that they don't have rational thought, because you need hot blood to be rational. So Aristotle, totally right all the time. Which is like, to me, like that tells me why all the like chud dude bro types tend to always like talking about Aristotle, because he was a super misogynist. Drawing giant penises on eels for science. Oh my god. Aristotle did create the manosphere. That's correct. Oh,
Actually, he got that from eels.
you're a little late for some Alberta correspondence stuff. We were talking about the floods in BC and how Vancouver is now going to separate from the rest of Canada. A Vexit, if you will. But all right, we'll move on with this seal story. So, every eel we might see in a river or pond in America or Europe has come from the Sargasso Sea?
Exactly. The American eel and the European eel are two different species, but they are very much alike. And both of them only breed in the Sargasso Sea.
Later, the young Sigmund Freud spent a summer trying to crack the eel mystery. Wasn't he hunting for some evidence of testicles?
Yes, that's an amazing story. Freud was 19 years old, studying natural science, and he wanted to solve the eel question. This was in the 1870s. By this time, they had found a female eel with eggs inside. So to solve the eel question, they had to find a male eel with sexual organs. Freud went to Trieste to find the eel testicle. It was like the holy grail of natural science at the time. He spent a month in Trieste and dissected over 400 eels.
Oh, Freud.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is I mean, unrelated, but like him operating on things and dissecting them and having to do with genitals. There was a case where there was this woman who was compulsively masturbating, and he decided that he was going to operate on her himself, and removed a portion of the interior of her nose, and eventually she died from that operation over a long period of time. And he then tried to cover it up. So fun guy.
Cool dude. Famously a cool dude.
There's a great book on that too that I have sitting in my basement somewhere. He got the eels from a fisherman, or from
Yeah.
fishermen, I guess.
Every morning.
Sorry.
Hmm? No,
No,
it's
I
fine.
just realized I used the fisherman when it was clearly like more than one.
Yeah. Yeah. Every morning he went down to the harbor and picked up a big basket of freshly caught eels. And then he went to his lab and cut them open for the whole day looking for the eel testicle.
Hell yeah.
Of course, he didn't find one testicle, and he had to write a report that concluded that he hasn't been able to solve the eel question. I think it's very funny to think about. This is the man who laid the basis for modern psychological therapy and the man who developed the theories about penis envy and castration anxiety. He started his scientific career by trying to explain the sexuality of a fish, and he failed.
Well, he didn't have that much more luck with human beings, I must say.
Yeah.
I'm kind of annoyed that he gets credited with like like anything in having to do with psychology. At best, like some of the things that he did, he didn't understand how they might have worked, like parts of psychotherapy. But even the whole I think like the only other thing that you can maybe give him partial credit for conceptualizing it would be like the subconscious, but beyond that, he was kind of useless. Kind of useless. Eventually, people discovered that eels metamorphosize into four completely different life stages. What are these different stages?
They're born in the Sargasso Sea as a small larva. They have the shape of a willow leaf and drift with the ocean currents. The European eel is eastbound to Europe and the American eel to the west. And when they reach land, they develop into what we call the glass eel. They're the same shape as an eel, but they're totally transparent. Then they find their way up in rivers and seas and streams going into freshwater, and they go through another metamorphosis. They become what we call the yellow eel, and then they live for a very long time as yellow eels in fresh water.
Oh, this gets to what Viking Man was saying. Viking Man said, "I'm hoping
Yeah.
he at least made food out of the remains because, geez, that sounds like a lot of waste otherwise." And here we go. Are yellow eels the ones we eat?
Mostly. Eels can live for a very long time, up to 85 years that we know for sure. Usually, when they are 15 to 30 years old, they suddenly leave the fresh water and swim out in the ocean again and return to the Sargasso Sea. When they do this, they transform again and become what we call the silver eel. And this is a very strange creature. They stop eating completely for the whole trip back to the Sargasso Sea, which can take over a year. Instead of eating, they develop their sexual organs. Their eyes change, the way they swim changes. Their final goal is to return home to the place where they came from. And many people also like to eat the silver eel if they catch it in the ocean.
Listen, we got to start our own like series here because there's an article here that's called "When Mollusks Fall in Love."
I mean, I also sent that salamander article
Oh
um,
yeah,
called How a Female Only Line of Salamanders Steals Genes from Unsuspecting Males.
biology is fun.
Yeah. They reproduce through a thing called kleptogenesis.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how time factors into the life cycle of the eel. They might live in a pond for 50 years, and then they suddenly decide it's time to swim back to this. I'm pronouncing it wrong. You seem to pronounce it differently, but Sargasso?
Yeah.
Sargasso Sea to reproduce. This is a very fluid sense of time.
It's almost like time and aging are irrelevant for the eel. You know, if the eel can't travel back to the Sargasso Sea, it never goes through the last metamorphosis. It doesn't become sexually mature, and it seems like it can live almost forever in that stage. It's like the eel can put a stop to its own aging. Some eels travel back to the Sargasso Sea after just 5, 6, or 7 years, and some eels travel back to the Sargasso Sea when they are 60 years old.
I'm that is fascinating to me. Like what like
Yeah,
could you get like a 200-year-old eel who's just like, "Nah, I'm not ready to fuck yet." Not ready.
possibly. We don't know. But this is why I want, like, the article is cool.
How do they know where to go, both as larvae and also as silver eels? In their first stage, they have to drift across the ocean, and somehow the European eel larvae go in one direction, while the American larvae go in a different direction.
That's still one of the mysteries. Once they're born, the European eel larvae just drift with the Gulf Stream to Europe. This can take 2 to 3 years. In the beginning, the American eel larvae are also drifting with the Gulf Stream, but then suddenly they leave the Gulf Stream and head west. How do they know where they are going? Scientific explanation is that there are some genetic differences and the American eel grows faster. So it becomes bigger and stronger earlier, which means that it can leave the current and head to the American continent. But it's the way back, when the silver eel is crossing the Atlantic from Europe to the Sargasso Sea, we still don't really know how they find their way back. We know they use their smell. They have an excellent sense of smell, and probably they also use the electromagnetic fields the same way birds do. But it's a very long and difficult journey.
Almost like time and aging are irrelevant for the eel. What's so special about the Sargasso Sea?
Yeah. Why can they only breed there and nowhere else? Probably has to do with the temperature, with the pressure, and with the salinity of the water. But scientists have tried to recreate the exact same conditions in aquariums or big tanks, but still no one has been able to make eels breed anywhere else other than in the Sargasso Sea.
That is also friggin' weird.
Yeah.
Like you can't like find a way to like recreate the conditions there. I mean, I guess there's something else that
Well,
would be missing out of
because
the equation.
yeah, because you have to get them in the
Water.
breeding mood to turn into silver eels to actually then like migrate to the Sargasso Sea as well. Like, so you have to get an eel that's in the mood to be horny in a year or two.
Yeah, weird. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Viking man. Like evolutionarily speaking, like what were the conditions that started to shape this behavior? Fascinating. A Danish scientist, Johannes Schmidt, actually cracked the mystery of where eels come from. What did he do?
That's one of my favorite stories in this science history of the eel. This was in the beginning of the 20th century, and by that point, scientists knew there were males and females, and the eel was breeding like normal fish. But they still didn't know where it happens. So Johannes Schmidt went out on the ocean with a boat to find the birthplace of the eel. His method was to catch the small larvae and measure them. The place where they were the tiniest and therefore newly hatched had to be the birthplace. Of course, the problem is that this eel larva is very, very small, and the Atlantic Ocean is very, very big. So he sailed. So first he sailed from 1904 to 1911 around the shores of Europe
Jesus
and caught a
Christ.
lot of larvae. They were quite big, so he had to go further out into the ocean. And he found that the further west he went, they actually became smaller. But World War One broke out, so it was very dangerous to sail around the Atlantic Ocean looking for eel larvae. But he just kept on going.
Hell yeah.
He actually sailed around the Atlantic for 18 years before he found the larvae that must have been newly hatched. So he could say that this place, the Sargasso Sea, was where the eel breeds. This says something about the human urge to understand nature. What makes a man sail around the Atlantic Ocean for 18 years just to know where the eel is born? There wasn't any prestige in it. There was no money in it. It was just curiosity.
Hell
He
yeah.
had to find out. And that's what makes this scientific history so fascinating. It's actually more a story about humans. Whatever, I don't give a shit. Eels fuck in the Sargasso Sea.
Yeah, imagine being like the person's like, I need to know. I need to know how the eels fuck. I'm gonna go
Viking
for it.
has it best, yeah.
Fuck
Fuck
you.
your war. I'm finding out how eels fuck.
Hell yeah. I'm down for that. If more people thought less about war and more about how eels fuck, we would live in a better society, you know? Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Look at it. That eel. I can't tell if the eel's ready to fuck or not, you know?
It's not silver, is it?
Nope.
It's in a aquarium with
Yeah,
gravel,
but we don't know if
ready to
like
fuck.
what I'm saying is like it could be like he's thinking about it, right? He could be like,
I mean,
maybe it's time to start turning silver. We don't know.
yeah, but I wonder like if he can
Have you
change his
asked him?
mind too. If he can be like, I might be horny in 2 years. I don't know about it though. Maybe 4 or 5.
Now I'm worried about what climate change disruption of Gulf Stream would have on eels. True.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that too. Like, what happens?
So I might have missed this, but like this was
Yes,
only
Tim,
approved
this
in
is specifically
2018.
freshwater. Hmm?
I thought they did say it was.
What?
No, I was just reading back the comment that you were answering.
Um, yeah, so it's a specific, like, it's specifically European and American freshwater eels. Eels forever wandering for thousands of years until the climate returns. They're just gonna chill in their rivers until the Sargasso Sea makes a comeback.
Yeah.
Humanity has to recreate the Gulf Stream so that eels can fuck again by spinning a giant blade on a constructed island in the middle of the Sargasso Sea.
It's also fascinating to me, like, to see how much like resiliency there is in terms of this evolutionary strategy, such that even if you had something like the Gulf Stream being disrupted, if there's like ways that they'll find a way to adapt as a species, yet maybe not in the one location, but somewhere else.
Yeah, because like I don't know how I wonder how like old they are and stuff too.
Yeah.
Um,
The eel in the photo looks like it's going through a bit of a Smith phase. Yeah, I can tell that.
he just looks like an
Wow.
awkward teenager.
I am human and I need to be loved. Just like everyone else does. It's been a while since I've heard that song, so I probably said the lyrics wrong, but you got the gist. That song is about eel sex.
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.